Sul, hello, and Lavis. Welcome to another episode of the Payne Family Ultimate Decades Challenge. The year is 1348. It's day 3, and we're starting with the Smiths because of a number of different reasons. However, before we really get into it, I'm going to let you know that we're starting pretty late in the sim day, sadly, because it took so long to get the sims from last episode. I started it their ends at 2 a.m. and it didn't finish until afternoon, like literally about 1 p.m. And then there's stuff that's happened in the background that I had to take care of. So basically, it's like almost the end of the day, which is kind of crazy. We might have to do a push into the start of 1349 and at some point just like make up a day somewhere. I did plead for the Sims. Kind of what I've landed on is that if it's an entire family that goes down, like all of the chance of a future, for example, in the case of Alexander's children and also Arthur's children so far, then I'm going to go ahead and plead for the family members. And what I did is I actually moved them all to one lot where Grania was the one who was going to live because it's just easier for me to have the urns in one place. And I felt like Grania would volunteer for the task if she was given the opportunity. But she did plead on behalf of us, of all of us, and she was actually able to convince Grimm to spare one single sim, and that single sim was in fact Arthur's son, Sawyer. So Sawyer survived. Maybe we can think of it that he got really sick. He might have fallen into a coma. That occasionally happened with plague victims, but then was able to be taken care of by his mom and his dad, and he somehow survived. Maybe that's what happened in the end. But that's kind of what I've landed on. I saw some people comment on the last episode saying like plead when they saw how devastating the result was. And also I'd already done it. Oh my gosh, football team sports day. Yeah, Graham likes stories. Yeah, Kate and Graham are jokesters, sure. What are these guys up to in here? Well, Graham's being the cutest dad ever, holding his children, and Kate is suffering. It seems like she's suffering. Today in the Smith household, not only is Kate having a baby, but Pip is also supposed to be becoming a child, so fingers crossed, it's good luck here. Yep, okay, Graham. Kate, you can stare at your baby if you want to, or we can have a baby. What do you say? Why did I not move this dang bassinet? It's every time. It is every time. The Smith home, luckily, was completely unaffected. When I checked it after last episode, so many houses were like missing stuff. Kate? Kate wants to put it off to do something else currently. I don't know. Ooh, also exciting news. I've now got a silent mouse, which is really good because it's made editing the audio such a nightmare. Yeah, Kate, I don't think you can have this baby while holding another baby. Oh, Sims. So I got a silent mouse, and now, yeah, because before the clicks on the other one, they made editing the audio such a wreck. Like, it was such a nightmare trying to do it. Go, Kate, go. I'm rooting for you. Oh my gosh, I also just found out that Oakley passed away from old age as well, so that is the end of an era. That's the end of all of the Sims that were left from Gen 1. I know that the Plowmans were never really ours, but it felt like they were. Do you know what I mean? Like, they felt like a part of our story for so long, and the baby's here! It's a girl baby. Oh my gosh, this is their first girl. Well, I just found out Oakley passed on, so I think we're going to give this baby the name Oakley, although I'm really tempted to name it Addie after her sister, Adeline, who didn't make it through the plague. But she might be revived, but I kind of doubt it. I don't know. We have so many Sims left to do their roles that I really feel like there are other Sims that are going to be kind of like chosen. I don't know. But then again, she is Huxley's daughter. Everyone loves Huxley. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna name this baby Oakley for now. Go, Kate. You can do it. Oh, look at how happy she is every time she has a new baby. She loves having babies. She loves babies so much. Uh-oh, Pip's gonna do this thing without us. We better do Pip's. Graham, do you mind helping Pip become a child, please? I don't want him to do it without us and then get, like, extra angry about the whole thing. Pip, if you're throwing a fit, please. Oh my gosh, it is so many children. These guys just love each other, you know? Kate, you're standing in a table there, my friend. Are you doing okay? Listen, I don't know what it's like to have a baby, but I imagine you may be in a strange place immediately afterwards. And she just like came down here to smile at us. Gosh, she is so pretty. She's such a good mix of her parents' genes, like Huxley and Catalina. Gib is aggressive. Howling. Well, I don't like to interfere with the autonomy. So, yep, if they think that they're aggressive, then they're aggressive. Happy birthday, Pip. Pip, you're the OG of this family's children, and everyone I think likes you pretty good. Graham, are you sick? Seems like you might be. That or you're just so stressed out by the millions of children you have. Pip has gone from being a charmer to being a loves the outdoors kid. Excellent. Love that for you, little buddy. Why don't you try and be a motor boy? And also, do you mind terribly going ahead and putting the birthday candles on this? Your skin tone is really interesting. I can't help but notice that it doesn't seem to match either of your parents. Okay, well, let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and do their roles. So I'll do Kate's first because she had the baby first. Aw, she's autonomously playing with the baby. And then you'll just see it go straight into Pip's cast. So it'll be nice and easy peasy. For Kate to survive her labor, she cannot roll the numbers 1 or 11. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. And for the baby to make it, baby Oakley, she cannot roll the numbers 1, 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 17, or 20. Come on, Oakley. Oh, gosh. Oh, it hurts. It hurts every time. Especially when you name it a name that you like. Dang it. And also their first girl. Come on. Oh my gosh. I'm not liking the omens that I'm seeing for the start of this. For Pip to survive his birthday to a child, he just cannot roll the numbers 3, 9, or 19, so... 14, he's fine. He's fine. Everything's fine. For him. Everything's fine for him. Well, on the upside, Kate's fine. Pip has survived as aged up to a child. And all the other boys are healthy for now. Oh my goodness. Graham, are you going to please discipline him and ask him not to have emotional meltdowns? Do you need to be disciplined? Yep, you do. Same thing for the both of you, okay? Good work, Graham. Way to be dad of the year. You know... Oh gosh, how embarrassing. I lost control. So it is sad that they lost the baby, but like I say, everyone else is doing pretty okay for now. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and leave the Smiths here, and we're going to go to the main family because it was actually meant to be Cenric's birthday yesterday, but I missed it. I just didn't write it down in my notes. So I was like, yeah, it'll be tomorrow. Nope, hopefully he hasn't done it without us. So I'll see you when we get back to the main Paynes. Okay, so here we are at the main Paynes. I think we're going to have to interpret this like they're doing the second sleep, which actually I don't have any references for the second sleep. What happened? I was watching, I'd heard about it in one video and I never wrote it down. I never wrote anything down about it because I thought it sounded like a bizarre, maybe not truth. But then I was watching another video that was one of those, like, I think it was a Wired video where they have like an expert explain something about something. You know, it's like, you know, anthropologist. Yeah, sorry. Something like anthropologist answers questions about, I don't know, anthropology or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And, Luella, where are you taking this? And they were talking about, it was a medieval expert who was talking about the medieval people did something called the second sleep, which is the same idea that I had heard. Happy birthday, Cenric! Cenric, you're too cute. I can't wait to see. Oh, at least Knox came to look and see his son age up and have a birthday. Luella is so dang pretty. Oh, why is she sad? Oh, because it's dirty? I hear you, girl. So Cenric was silly, and now he's hot-headed? That's quite a personality change. Do you want to be a little creative, buddy? It's just really easy for me to deal with the creative thing. Anyway, so going back to this idea of the second sleep, what it was is basically the idea that... Luella, can you? Yeah, you can like fitness from doing one stretch, sure. What it was is the idea that medieval people would go to sleep for a bit, and then whether they would get up in the middle of the night and like hang out or do other tasks that they had to do. Luella, I was putting you here so that I could get you to do a cleaning frenzy. Thank you so much. And Cenric, what an outfit. Do you mind putting that away kindly? Thank you. So, oh, Gideon sent him a gift. Oh, and Edwin and Graham. Oh, a lot of people sent him a gift. So anyways, we're just going to pretend that they're doing the second sleep and that they've already slept. Did you just drop your clothes as well? What is happening in this household? Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get him into cast and see what's going on with them. Cenric cannot roll the numbers 3, 9, or 19 to make it. Come on, buddy. He's made it. Okay. Okay. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Nobody needs to panic. Just because you get some trouble happening once or twice, it doesn't mean that it's always gonna happen. I'm gonna buy some stuff because I'm actually going to swap this over to mental because I kind of forgot to keep working on these, and I'm gonna do his too, and they can play chess together. Stuff like that. Play with your bro if you don't mind. So anyways, the idea of the second sleep is that medieval people, like peasants, would go to bed for a bit during the middle of the day. And then, pal, what are you doing? You and your brother are supposed to be playing chess together. And then they would, so they would do their chores and everything. Then they would go to sleep for a little bit. And then they would get up in the night and like hang out, go call on their friends, visit people, stuff like that, do some extra work that they didn't have a chance to get done during the daytime, and then they would go back to sleep. And that was the idea of the second sleep, as it was described by, I think it was Wired, but it might not have been. It's hard to say. So anyways, we're going to pretend that's what they're doing, which is why everyone's going to be doing some chores, except for Heidi. I mean, she is kind of doing a chore because she's doing cross-stitching. But everyone else is for sure doing chores. Esmond, you left your little loot out. So I guess what we can do while they're all doing their stuff... Harper! Harper, actually, do you mind going to the bathroom? I forgot that he had familial distress. I don't know what to do with this kid. I don't. Yeah, nap lazily. Do it, I dare you. So I guess while they're doing their middle of the night stuff, what we could do is we can start off talking about the Black Death just so that it's nice and we get the worst part, well, the worst part of it. That's not the worst part, because the worst part is obviously going to be when we have to go through the rolls at the end. But we can talk about it for now. Yes, a golden egg. Oh my gosh, you have no idea how excited I get every single time that we get a golden egg. I just moved around so much because I was so pumped about it. It's the dream. It's literally the dream. I wasn't planning. I'm still not going to open the live-in shop today. I'll just set it here and hopefully not forget about it. Though I don't have a lot of faith in myself. So yeah, let's go ahead and chat about the Black Death facts for this part. In terms of the historical stuff that we're going to talk about this episode, at this point in the Black Death, there was a complete sense of collapse in the world. People literally thought it was the end of the world. I mean, places where the plague had gotten to were completely abandoned. No one was out. for obvious reasons. You couldn't buy food because businesses were shut down. If you were lucky enough to have a place that still could offer funerals, there were funerals all the time, but most places that got the plague were so decimated that they didn't even have enough people left alive to bury the dead, leading to literal bodies being left out in public. So obviously, people were watching everyone around them die. They were seeing that there was no time to properly take care of the dead, and they just thought, this is it. This is the end of the world. It didn't help that doctors, obviously, as I think we established last episode, had no idea what to do, and eventually they admitted it. So by 1348, which is the year that we're in right now, there was a real mistrust in doctors since they had no answers to give people. Chroniclers of the time really capture the mood when they write, quote, "If you want to die faster and give your money away in the process, get a doctor." Or in the words of another famous individual, doctors need 3 qualifications: to be able to lie and not get caught, to pretend to be honest, and to cause death without guilt. Obviously, people aren't feeling good about doctors at this point. In the wake of doctors having no answers, people obviously turned to the other authority in their lives, which was God, the big man upstairs, as they believed. Many people believed that the Black Death was a kind of divine punishment or a retribution for sins against God. The sins that they kind of guessed might be the root cause were things like greed or blasphemy or heresy or worldliness or being too affectionate with too many people. The Pope thought that this was the plague of God in reaction to the sins of earth and shared that belief, which, by the way, as a side note, the Pope was worried about getting the plague, and so to avoid it, he sat between 2 roaring fires all summer. Obviously, this was something that was theorized to help because of humoral theory, but the weird thing is that it actually did help him, because it was too hot in the room that he was in for the fleas that carry the plague bacteria to get to him. So while the thinking was wrong about why it would help, it did save him from getting the plague. Oh, it's just one of those things, you know, they got so much right and they got so much wrong. But it's still pretty impressive considering they had no idea what was going on scientifically. Back to the dark stuff though. This idea that it's God's punishment leads a lot of people to a lot of different conclusions about who to blame or what to blame. In England, for example, Thomas Brenton of Rochester claimed that men dressing too sexily was the cause of the plague because men were wearing too tight of hose and too pointy of shoes, and that was just too sexy. John Wycliffe, who is a really interesting character from history, and he's eventually, John Wycliffe, going to be fired from teaching at Oxford for heresy, but that's a whole other story that's kind of interesting. He blamed the plague actually on the church itself because he said that the church was full of people who saw it as a career rather than doing it for the reason that they were supposed to properly look after the souls of those in their care. No. It's just today's a bad day because everyone's tired and stuff, but we have to do this. What's this moodlet? Life hack. From practice makes perfect trait. What? You don't have practice makes perfect trait. You're confused, little buddy. Your brother has practice makes perfect. But you've got the moodlet for it. Maybe his, he just got some advice. Wow, that's sweet. They seem to have they have a great relationship. Dang. So yes. Others, however, said that the world as a whole was the problem, and they thought, oh, way to avoid the plague if the world as a whole is a problem, and if God's upset with us, is to just punish ourselves before God can get to us, Like, let's just take care of the problem for God. So, obviously, there's a big idea that the Black Death is a kind of divine punishment, and that you have to get God's forgiveness to make it stop or to survive. This idea that you could just punish yourself to get out of it led to the rising of a group of people called the Flagellants. They believed specifically that they had to pay for God's forgiveness with blood. So it's already going to go in a bad direction when the starting point is they're like, yeah, my blood for your forgiveness. You know what I mean? What would happen is they would get together, they would dress in white cloaks with red crosses, and they would participate in public displays of penance, which were pretty extreme. They traveled from town to town, and they would beat themselves and one another with heavy leather straps or with sticks studded with sharp pieces of metal, while the townspeople watched them. They would do that 3 times a day, not just once, not just twice, but 3 times a day for 33 and a half days. And then they would move to the next town and they would start the whole thing over again. The flagellants originally appeared in Germany during this plague outbreak, and it was mostly popular in the lowlands, which was described as being Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, and some parts of northern Italy. While you might think that what the flagellants are doing is so extreme and you can't believe that that would happen, it had originally started in the 11th century by Italian monks. But interestingly, the church hated this movement. Like, they hated it. They didn't like it at all. And the Pope himself told them to stop, which they did. And the movement died out by 1350. Another unfortunate thing about the flagellants is that they were violent anti-Semites, and this tied into another unfortunate theory about the plague, which was that, sadly, some people believed it was the fault of Jewish people. It's important to realize that this is at a point when Christian Europe is increasingly suspicious of outsiders or people who believe differently to themselves in a post-Crusade climate. Jews had already been expelled from England, France, and several other countries after their rulers borrowed money that they didn't want to repay, as in the case of Edward I, which, if you remember some of the early episodes, that came up very briefly. And there was already suspicion cast against Jewish people as Christian Europe continued the trend of defining itself more in relation to us and them, which had really taken hold during the Crusades. And so there's a growing mistrust of anybody who is different at this point in time. Since there was such a widespread belief that the only way to escape the plague was to get God's forgiveness, some people interpreted that as needing to purge their communities of heretics and other troublemakers. And by April of 1348, an anti-Semitic rage just swept through Europe, leading to the repeated massacres of Jewish communities, as well as the torturing and burning of Jewish people. I want to point out that Casimir the Great of Poland had already provided protected status to Jewish people, welcoming them to live in Poland in greater numbers than they had before, and answering the unfortunately common crime of kidnapping Jewish children for the purpose of forced baptism with the penalty of death. So not all of Europe was going through the same thing, but it is important to recognize that that happened. You know, there was this great tragedy, there was this great epidemic, people were scared, they didn't know what was going on, and the knee-jerk reaction was, of course, as it often is in history, to blame the other, or anyone or anything that was seen as different or an other became the problem. It actually got so bad that the Pope had to step in and proclaim that it couldn't be the Jews who were doing it, and that people needed to stop the violence. Jewish people weren't the only ones targeted. A lot of basically anybody or anything that could be identified as different, like I brought up before, was targeted. Travelers were often killed by mobs simply for traveling, because there was an idea going around that the travelers were poisoning the well, and that's what was leading to everyone getting sick. Also, cats, I cannot find a rationale for this, so if you know, let me know. But cats were suddenly found to be suspicious, and they were killed in the hundreds or thousands. The numbers are unclear, in really bad ways. I won't get into it. But in terms of things like more relevant to our family, in England, they'd heard of the plague for more than a year before the plague got to them, but nobody came up with any real plans ahead of time, except that some cities started to dig mass graves in preparation. Some people fled for the countryside, but the issue, as we know now, is the fleas on rats. So leaving the city wasn't a guarantee of escaping the plague, depending on the rats and the fleas that happened to be there or traveled there. But you did have a better chance at getting food if you moved out of the city, because the cities, people would swarm to them and then they would eat up all of the food supply. And then the city would not only be sick, but it would be starving. And it got really ugly in cities really quickly. By June of 1348, as we kind of saw in our last episode, the plague finally got to England and it started spreading. People fled out of fear and they inadvertently spread the plague even further inland. If you were lucky enough to live someplace that there were enough people left to collect the bodies, there were laws passed in several countries that punished people for keeping the bodies of their loved ones with them instead of handing them over to the body collectors. But the real issue at this time is that there is no time for rituals, for coffins, or funerals. People don't know what's going on. They're blaming everyone around them. Money becomes an issue because some people see what's happening and they decide to take advantage of it. Burial shrouds, for example, cost 10 times their earlier prices. And so it is a time of complete despair. It is no wonder that people believed it was the end of the world. I think that the big takeaway from this part of the plague, or from this stuff that we've talked about with the history, is that similar to what happened with doctors, there was a change in terms of how people viewed the world around them. And so just as people had stopped trusting doctors, at this point, some people started moving away from religion as well, as it became increasingly clear to the survivors no amount of prayer would help. Well, on that note, we're going to leave the Paynes here. We won't be back with them this episode. There's some other houses we've got to go see, and it's already 1 o'clock, so we're going to leave the Paynes here. Spoiler, well, not really a spoiler. You're going to see it in like 20 minutes, but the Paynes are not up for their roles today. I've put them off to the last minute, so it'll be a while before we see the main family. Ooh, it's scary. Okay, see you when we get to the next household. So here we are at a house we haven't been to for a while, and that looks a little bit differently these days, partially because of the whole update mods issue, but also partially because they've had some time and some reasons to work on the house. Oh, it's exciting. So basically, we're here with the Hagens. Eric is now officially married to Rose. They got married. They have a really great friendship. Yeah, Leif, you can like affection. They have a really great relationship. I'm just gonna cue them up to do some stuff. Oh, everyone's hanging out here together. That's cute. That's cute. Yeah, they've got a really great relationship as friends and a little bit of romance. I don't know that they're necessarily about that romance life, but they're definitely very committed to each other as friends and as, you know, like soulmates in terms of like looking after each other. Oh, Rolo's looking much better. He's returned to health. And the house has had some improvements. They've gone ahead and repaired those walls that had some issues. They've got some more furniture. They've cleared out the yard just a little bit. It's not as finished as they want yet. And they added on a second part so that Rose and Eric can have a space here together, which is very exciting. I want to point out that Rose is actually the sister to James's wife who died last time. She died of the plague. So she, I guess, doesn't know yet. Word hasn't gotten here because, like I said, so many people are going down that I guess she just hasn't heard. But interestingly, I thought that they were supposed to go into labor today, but in fact it happened when I was doing the plague consequences the other day. So they actually have a baby now, a wee bairn named Leif Erikson. We'll see if he survives before we commit too hard to the story that I'm planning on going for. But I actually haven't done their roles yet, so we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with this baby. Oh my gosh, good job, Rose, being so time period appropriate. Signy, good job being so cute. What happened to your outfit, dude? I'm sorry, you have to go home. If you're gonna be dressed badly, you have to go home. Signy, do you mind making food? I don't know what your cooking skills are like, so I'm just gonna have you make something that doesn't involve an oven, if you don't mind. Thanks. Okay, Rose, let's go ahead and get these rolls going. While we're here, I do want to point out that Signy could have gotten married from last year, and Rollo could have gotten married from 2 years ago. Dang it, I forgot to put a roof on here. Listen, there was a lot going on. But since I've updated now, I am looking for matches. But also part of me is like, I don't want to get anybody else married before they do their plague rolls after what happened to James. But okie dokie, this moment's about you, Rose, you and the baby. For Rose to survive, she cannot roll the numbers 1, 2, or 11 because I tried to get Dovile over in time, but it happened so quickly. It happened so quickly that I didn't even finish the call before the baby was here. So, Rose... Oh no! Oh my god, come on. Oh my goodness, no. The wives are having such a bad time lately. Okay, and for the baby to survive, he cannot roll the numbers 1, 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 17, or 20. Oh, of course. I mean, who isn't cursed in this playthrough? That's not fair. We've had some really good luck. Well, we'll try and plead for her because everyone gets one, but like, I just feel like we've had really not great luck lately. Like, I'm glad that the Jacobsons were spared. They were the ones that I was most worried about last episode, but like, everyone who's had a risky roll basically has failed it. Hers wasn't even that risky. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm so sorry, Rose. Rose and her sister were shared on the gallery, by the way. I'll put the image up so that you can find them if you want. Why? Why is this happening? I feel so unlucky these days. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one who's unlucky. That's true. Maybe it's just me. I am so sorry, baby. Everyone be upset. And Leif, I know this isn't the moment, but do you mind repairing this for me? Sorry. Eric? What's this? Eric, Grim has been intermittently kind to us lately. That's actually true. Grim has been like pretty kind to us lately. So Grim, I know that you've done a lot for us, but please don't stop now. Please? Grim? Oh, Grim, I can already tell you're gonna say no. Please. Grim, please. Grim! Maybe... Oh my gosh. The Hagens have had really bad luck as well. The Brewers are basically cursed. The Miskinnesses are basically cursed. The Hagens are basically cursed. Come on, man. Ugh, it's awful. I don't know how Eric's crying from his forehead like this, but it helps me to focus on this instead of what's just happened. Oh, hey, Heath. Rollo's like, I'm just glad to be alive since I had TB. Oh my gosh. Leif is like, not another wife. This is awful. Oh my gosh. I don't know. He's afraid and doesn't know what to do in a situation like this. Signy also. Life is too short. Make it longer in the options menu. She can't do that. He's emotionally mindful, but literally just like everything else in his life sucks. And Leif, I'm not shocked that you're afraid of Grim. I don't know why you're talking to him. Can we just discuss our fears of death with Grim? Wow, that was a tragic turn of events. I honestly can't believe that. Okay, well, I'm not adding Sims who fail their normal roles during the plague period to the polls. Now is not the time for a prom game. Just because there are so many Sims who are going down, and you can only put an image poll of like 4 images. And I know there are a lot of characters, so it's hard to remember. But let me know if you think that we should add in people who die around this time from other causes, like from their roles. And we can add them in maybe at the end, like as another group together. This makes me scared because we have another house we have to go to do another birthday. And it's like a sim that we like desperately needed. We're wanted. Well, we do desperately need them. Oh God. Okay. I will see you when we get to the next household. Oh my gosh. Yeah, bye, Grim. Okie dokie. So here we are at the Woodhamses, where Osgar Woodhamse should be becoming a child today if all goes well, which will be the last of the little kids that they have to get older. They do still have quite a few baby tries left, I think. Oh gosh, now I can't remember. I think it's maybe 3 baby tries that they have left. But they had such a run of tragedy that I felt bad making them keep trying and trying, you know? So, but now we know that Eleanor's time is limited, but also she's like quite a bit older now. She's like in her adult lifespan. She's in her adult lifespan. And so the rule that I have is that when they become adults, they actually have to add that number 2 back again. So they've got 4 babies. Maybe we'll see how it goes with the Plague. Saying it as Plague makes it less terrifying, right? Ed, my friend, do you mind making some food for your family? You know, Osmond, for somebody who's theoretically evil, you just came all the way over here to join cooking on your own. You don't seem evil to me. Maybe it is how everybody said that he's like, not necessarily evil, but he saw his parents go through so much tragedy. And part of them was like, well, what about me? Why does nobody care about me? Why am I not enough? But also another part of it is that he's somebody who's just willing to do whatever it takes. Absolutely anything it takes to make sure that the people he loves make it through everything in life well. And so that can be interpreted as evil for sure, because he's like willing to sacrifice anybody or anything for the sake of his loved ones at the expense. Don't do it. Yeah, so maybe that's what it is that he loves the people he loves, and he loves them desperately, and if anybody tries to harm them or get in the way of that, they go down. He doesn't care. Ed, do you want to go to the bathroom, my friend? Are you two up here, over here? Oh, they're so cute. Oh my gosh, autonomously? This household, like, come on. Hey, that's a modern mailbox. These guys are over here autonomously hugging each other. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, I love them. Osmond is theoretically evil, but autonomously helping with cooking. Eleanor and Edward. Oopsies, I missed it. I am sorry. I'm sorry, Oscar. Oscar's pretty cute. I hope that he's still cute when he gets older, but all the other kids are pretty cute, so hopefully no weird genetics things happen. Come on, little mister. Little lord. Portia likes pranks? Heck yeah, dude. Go, buddy, go! So he was fussy. Couldn't have been... What? He was fussy, but you wouldn't have been able to tell, and now he's a glutton. Okay, fine. I'm not against it. Wow, there's a whole slew of gluttony going around. Okay, let's just get him in and see what's going on, aside from this cape. For Osgar Woodhamse to survive his birthday to a child, he cannot roll the numbers 3, 9, or 19. Come on, Oscar. He's fine. It was close, but he's fine. Oh, thank goodness. If Eleanor and Edward lost another son at this point, like, come on. I think we'll go ahead and just hang out with these guys to finish out the year before we do the dreaded rolls, because they're just so dang cute. I really love Portia. She's so cute. Edward, you've been a great sim. Like, who doesn't love old Ed? I feel like we've got so many sims that we call Ed in this. Because we've got... I guess it's just... Oh, hey, Kieran. Kieran's here. Oh my gosh, Kieran is so sad. Kieran's mental health is not doing well. Hello, children? Oh, they've walked away. You know, part of me wishes that the Woodhamses were our main family. They just are so funny. They're so, interesting. Like, look at them. They also have a really unique look compared to the other Sims, I feel like. I mean, I want to know what the heck is going to happen with Osmond in the future. I want to know what's going to go on with this little girl. I don't know what's going to happen with her. I think Portia's really interesting. Oscar, we don't know anything about you yet, my friend, but I'm sure one day we'll know something about you. I just want to know, like, what are their futures going to be? Who will they go? What are their stories, you know? And look, they just autonomously go and chat with each other. Like, I don't know. I think they're pretty interesting. I do think that the Woodhamses are some of the most interesting of all the side families. But on that note, I think I'm going to pull this episode to a close so that we can go straight into the plague rolls. I guess, though, before we do... In the background, Vampire Boy was returned to life by popular demand, and because I hate eliminating Sims who should have survived. It's one thing if it's the rolls that does it, but if it's me, like if I made a mistake, I really don't like that. Wherever he is in the world, and I actually think we're gonna find out relatively soon after the plague runs through. But relatively soon, Ivor Nilsson aged up to a young adult successfully. At Sophia's household, she had another baby named Kristoff, and the baby didn't make it. But Aldona did survive her birthday to a toddler, which is great. Also, Eduardo de Luna aged up to a toddler successfully too. And Seamus contemplated the emptiness that was his life these days. But for now, let's go ahead and get into those plague rolls and see who's gonna make it and who's not gonna make it. We're in the full swing now, so things are gonna be intense for a while. Today is gonna be some big families. Some big families that we care about. And just to be real clear, we're actually starting with the Woodhamses. So remember last time I changed it so that we're doing a D4 just because it's easier to make sure that it's not stuck than a coin, where odds mean that you live and evens mean that you do not make it. So age before beauty is always Edward. Oh my god. Oh no. Eleanor? Oh no. Oh no. Osmond. Okay, Osmond is gonna live. Isabella. Shut up. No, 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 no. Oh my gosh, Oscar. Oh my god. Oh no, it's a catastrophe. It's an actual catastrophe. And that's the first house. Oh no, and then it's other favorites. Oh no, I'm really scared. I'm scared. Graham? Okay. The next house is obviously the Smiths. Kate? Okay. Pip? Gib? Oh my gosh, no. How? Oh my gosh. Pate? One of their sons. Oh my gosh. And the Hagens still reeling from tragedy because we just are unlucky sometimes. Leaf first. Oh god. Eric. Oh my gosh, what the heck? Rollo? No, wait. No. Signy? Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. What? No. 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 No, this is a catastrophe. This is a catastrophe. Out of 16 Sims, only 3 survive? 4 survive? Oh my gosh, this is awful. And they're like, that's all of Idis's genes, original Idis gone. That's like all of Kate and Graham's babies, except for one. That's everyone in the Woodhamses that I was just talking about how much I love them. Oh my gosh. I cannot process this right now.